What is up, folks? Good morning. We are back to vlogging. I'm not sure if it's going to be daily, but I am going to be doing it weekly. And today we're picking up a new bike, which is very fun. I'm in Orlando right now because the only store that had the bike that I wanted was in Orlando. I am purchasing it from Dick's Sporting Goods. I know that's a cardinal sin, but this bike is actually really, it's a decent bike for the price. I'm getting it for a discounted price at 50% off today. They're having a sale because of the fact that it's July 4th weekend coming up, and I'm getting it at 50% off. So it's like under $400, and it's a very good bike. It's the GT Pantera, or the Dick's version is the Ricochet Plus, but it's the same exact bike. They just brand it a little bit differently since it's a Dick's Sporting Goods exclusive. But it's under $400, and we're gonna see if we could pick up some gear from a big box store like Dick's Sporting Goods, take it out to the trail, and see if it works out well enough to consider it a value for what you're spending. Let's get in there and pick up the bike, and then we'll take a look at it whenever we get to the trail. Yeah, I called about the bike. You're good. Don't worry about it. You're good. Alright guys, we're out here at Chuck Lennon Park. It's in DeLand or Deltona, Florida. If you're familiar with Florida trails, this one is one of the better ones as far as just minimal bump and nice flow. This one's pretty good. I'm out here with my Diamondback full suspension. This thing is pretty much tricked out, custom as far as I could go with it, and that's why I purchased the hardtail over there. I really like this Diamondback, but this video series is going to be about this budget-friendly hardtail. Now, this is probably the best hardtail that I could find anywhere. I've been doing a lot of research because I've been wanting to purchase one, and it just so happens that this bike that I was really interested in at the price that it was set, $600. That's a really good price, but then it went half off at Dick's Sporting Goods, so it was only $400 exactly. It was like, I think it was $374 before tax. I could have ordered it online and kind of avoided the tax paying, but I would have rather picked it up. It was already assembled and everything. Not to say that I can't assemble a bike, but just the fact that I could come and ride it today and purchase it at the store and check it out and make sure everything fits well is cool to me. So $400 out the door, and you get a really good bike. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it before I actually ride it on the trail. A couple of things I'm wanting to do, I'm not going to be able to do today because I don't have the tools in my car over there. But this little tutorial and series should help you guys if you're beginner mountain bikers. Just keep following this series because I'm going to be taking this bike from really basic stock kind of thing and bringing it up to like a pro level hardtail, and it's going to cost a lot less than going out there and buying one of the pro line hardtails on the market, because this frame alone has all the components that you need. Well, not the components, but has all the specifications that you need to upgrade it to a really high standard that you would find in those pro level hardtails. But yeah, today I'm just going to take it and set it up for the trail ride and take you along with me to tell you about how I feel about this bike while I just purchased it, and it's going to be like a first impressions, and hopefully it helps you guys out. First thing I'm going to do is come over here. I'm going to adjust the cockpit because it's a little bit funky. If you're new to the mountain biking world, I would really recommend getting a set of these Allen keys. These are metric, so just regular numbers, and I'm going to adjust this cockpit using the stem to change the angle, and then I'll change the brake levers and shifters to fit my needs pretty decently. I wouldn't really say that these are great handlebars, but really nothing on the bike is going to be great at such a low price point. It's kind of just something you have to get used to no matter what, unless you want to buy like a $1,000 bike right out of the gate, then you kind of have to get used to buying something a little bit more budget friendly. But then you get to upgrade it slowly, which is the benefit of buying something more budget oriented. It's really hard to do this one-handed, mind you, so wish I would have brought my tripod with me, but you could get this going. You could see that these handlebars kind of have a, from this dimension, I don't know, they kind of lay further back, and I want them to be more vertical. So we'll go ahead and compare the two once I do this. All right, so now I have actually changed the angles of the brake levers and shifters and the angle of the handlebar, so it actually looks a lot more straight up. If you could tell, the sweep is not as far this way. It's more of like a straight across sweep, and it gives you a more aggressive riding position, and it just gives it more maneuverability in my opinion. This is what I'm used to. Everybody's different, so make sure that you change the bars to your liking. And then you also want to go ahead and, once over the bike, make sure everything is tightened down. Make sure that this rear derailleur here is not going to bash into these spokes, because I've heard that's a complaint for a lot of the Dick's Sporting Goods bikes. Whenever this derailleur isn't set properly, maybe the technician doesn't do it, but if this different tension screw in the back isn't set properly, this hanger right here, well, this little cog could be caught in the spokes, and that'll cause the derailleur to actually break off from this hanger. It's actually a good thing because it won't break your derailleur, hopefully. But yeah, once over the whole bike, and make sure that there is no loose screws or anything. You want to make sure that the spokes are tight. Go over it and just pinch them, make sure that they are all tensioned properly. I've already done this, so they are tensioned properly. It seemed like the technician at the Dick's Sporting Goods in Orlando was pretty good and made sure that everything was set up right on it, and it's shifting really nicely, which is cool. Add some lubrication to the chain. Make sure that it is clean. I mean, this sandy parking lot is horrible for this right now because the chain is perfectly clean and it's just kicking up like little pebbles into it. So kind of, you might want to avoid that, but it's definitely hard to avoid. It's just gonna get dirty no matter what, so don't worry about it. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to adjust the saddle, and I'll show you the difference between this saddle whenever it's not adjusted and then whenever it is adjusted. And then we're gonna go for a ride. That's pretty much all I could do for you right now in the parking lot. I don't have all the tools on me to trick this thing out, but I will be doing that. The next video that you see about this bike is going to be actually changing what is on the bike to make it look a lot better and make sure that it's running at the best that it can, and just changing little things to make the overall appearance like really nice. So that's gonna be the next video. The current seat position is very forward. It's like the back part of the seat is jamming into my bottom, and I want to make it more tilted up. And I'm actually going to change the direction. I'm going to change the length of the seat. It's pretty far back right now, and this frame is already bigger than I'm used to, so I'm going to move it just about in the middle so that it's setting up very nicely and evenly for me. And now you can see that the saddle is a little bit more scooped upward. It's hard to tell from the video. I tried to line it up with that back, that silver line on my car so you can see the actual plane that it's on, but it's a lot more comfortable now than it was. So if you're having issues with the seat comfort, then try to adjust it before you buy a new seat, because at first these points on the seat were really hard pressing into my butt cheeks, but then once I adjusted it, I was kind of spread out across it more evenly, and it felt a lot better. The last thing that you want to do before you ride is check the tire pressure on your tires. Make sure that they're set up well. Mine are good. They're a little bit hard, so I'm going to let a little bit of the air out, but then we're going to go ride. I just want to make sure that this tutorial helps you guys out. It's not really a tutorial, it's more of like just a guidance kind of thing. I'm going to talk about if this bike is going to be a relevant purchase for somebody getting into mountain biking, and if it's going to hold up against just your average trails. I feel that I could probably ride it at like an actual bike park, like in North Carolina somewhere or something like that. It feels very sturdy at the moment, and I don't think it would have any issues with like a actual mountain bike trail. So I'm gonna let you know on the trail as we go, and I'm gonna talk about it on the ride. So let's finally get riding. I've been driving around for like probably 2 hours on a hunt for this because it was the only one in Central Florida that I could get in the store today. So this was the last one, and I'm pretty happy. I think it's a good omen. I gotta lock this baby up though, so wish me luck on that. All right, let's get riding. All right guys, this is the GT Ricochet Plus. It's a 27.5 trail bike from Dick's Sporting Goods. You could also get the Pantera option from GT themselves. This was around, I want to say $400 out the door, and I'm going to test it on this trail today. We're at Chuck Lennon, and I'm just going to give it a test ride for the time being, just a quick one, and it's looking like it's going to rain, so that's why I'm only doing a quick one. See how it feels as a hardtail. I'm typically riding a full suspension Diamondback. This is just a really mellow trail, so I should get a pretty good understanding of how this bike feels without having to push it too hard, which is nice. It is a 2x9 drivetrain, and it's pretty much the entry-level option that GT offers, but it's a really good bike for what you're paying for. It's got a tapered headset. Ooh, look at this berm. Tapered headset. It's got a through axle in the front, and it's got 27.5 plus tires. So those are pretty much the best features that you can get in a hardtail for this price. All the other components on the bike are just kind of not an issue for me because of the fact that I bought this bike for the frame alone, and the frame is a really good geometry, semi-aggressive trail style frame. It has a 65 or a 68.5 head degree angle, and it's got a chainstay length of 440 millimeters, which is about ideal for a trail bike. And right out of the box it feels really good, I'd say. Wow, I'm really happy about it so far. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's all I really wanted out of this ride, just like a short, quick teaser, because look at that. That is going to get us. So I don't want to be stuck in that, and I'm really hungry and thirsty, and I don't have anything out here. But I'm going to do my initial impressions of this thing off the bike whenever I get off the bike, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it after some thinking. Like I said, the pedals are actually plastic, but man, they feel pretty good. Like they don't feel like bad at all. They've got some pins on them. Like I wouldn't be too upset if I got this for the first mountain bike and those were the pedals that I was stuck with for a little while. Because that's kind of the idea of this bike. It's your first bike, so I'm gonna put it up. I'm gonna escape that storm. Then I'll talk about it a little bit more and I'll close out the video. All right, guys. Thanks for riding with me today. And hopefully this video helped you out.